you can feel the nature, right? You can sense the outside air. You feel the sweat when you are slowing down in a hot summertime. There are positives and negatives on a motorcycle travel, if you ask me. But then the benefits of the positives of traveling on a motorcycles are clearly more when compared to the negatives of it. Negatives, yes, in case there is a breakdown, you have a flat, you are on a two-wheeler, there's some jaywalker on the road, a dog on the road. So these are some areas where you really feel that, what the hell am I doing on a two-wheeler? But if you generally look at it, the flexibility that the two-wheeler has to take you to places where a four-wheeler cannot. I'm talking about a normal, comparison. I'm not talking about anything hyper. I think two-wheeler is one vehicle that can actually is definitely more comfortable for me. And it's definitely it takes a lot lesser time than a four-wheeler. And the best part is you don't get to pay tolls. People were zipping around the world in a car. And that was when I told Mr. Baman Irani, who was the director of Ideal Java then, that what are the chances that, we do around the world in 60 days. So his initial reaction was, are you nuts? And 10 days later he said, let's do it. So for me, that's been one of the biggest breakthrough of having a support system from the Yezdi guys, and taking a two-stroke in 1994, covering all the 6 continents, doing about 42,038 kilometers in 47 days and 119 days in all. So I believe that's been one big adventure that's actually helped me to cross a lot of borders, encounter the kind of difficulties. I'm talking about 1994. Technology was not born. There was no video cameras. There was no internet, no email. So everything ran on trunk calls and India Post was doing really good. So I had these American automobiles, the AAA maps with me, which helped me to chart out my day-to-day journey. It was interesting in those days, where we had a lot of people connect, we had a lot of time at our disposal, not glued to the technological gadgets that we all are today. So yeah, I mean, it's been nice, and it's been there since as I mentioned, 3 decades. The Trans-Siberian has been one of the most challenging overland adventures I believe Indians have seen. And the reason I believe is because I know we have set a new benchmark for overland travels. Overland travel is not only about going into places for sightseeing, it's more of adventure as well. And until we mentioned the Road of Bones, there are not many people who knew that there was something of that road existed. For me, I pity those guys who run to Leh Ladakh, once a year. I mean, it is an annual pilgrimage for most of the people. And I actually, feel very sorry for them, if you ask me, because I've done the Khardungla back in 1991, and I've not been there since. Okay. For me, it's done, dusted, closed. And looking at the most recent pictures, I can only see that, the road is well laid, there is a tarmac, and it's more of an extended, sightseeing place for people who would like to go on an extended holiday. I mean, in those days it was adventure, but today if I look at it, it's not an adventure. So the Road of Bones is a 3,000 kilometer stretch. The old summer road of the Road of Bones is a 400 kilometer stretch, and we were able to ride only the first 156 kilometers, because after that there were no roads. The roads were completely washed out. The weather was not playing God. A lot of rains, very deep streams of water which prevented us from going ahead. So we had to come back. So there is one pocket where I would want to go back and try to do it. affordability is number one. Because the larger segment, this is a very good question. I mean, in case people are really looking at it from a research perspective, I strongly believe that you should have bikes that are affordable for any person to get their hands on. You know, rental companies investing on big bikes and keeping the rentals at sky high prices will only deter people from looking at a rental agency. The rental companies should make it a point to kind of package their prices for people. I mean, it's more of a encouragement that, like, oh, it's not really expensive, I can take this bike for 10 days out. So if you have to look at a super bike, 10 days can be, as good as he buying a new bike which is a 200 or a 400cc bike. You get where I'm coming from? So rental companies will need to be a little cautious on their investment, because is it a dead investment you're looking at, or is it an investment that's giving you continuous returns? Well, it's a very exhaustive area, because I believe that today's youngsters are absolutely with no patience. I can justify my statement in a very, very simple way. Look around yourself when you're at a signal, at a traffic signal. I don't have to go beyond it. I mean, there are a lot of other things that I can tell you, but the easiest way to identify people and the statement that I'm making today about the youngsters who have no patience is by looking at them handling their machines at a traffic signal. There is nobody who seems to have patience. Either they are honking, or either they are trying to wriggle around between cars and trying to be in the front of a car which is wanting to go in a different direction. Guys, what are we doing? I'm done. I'm half my age done. Almost I'm 70% of my life is gone. But it's today's youngsters who are at the threshold of 25 to 35. 35 is still a little mature, but the guys who are getting their hands on when they get their license at about 21 or 22, and the 20 to 30 gap, these are the generation that's going to take this country to the next level. And if these guys are not able to bring in a little amount of discipline and patience, I don't think we're going anywhere. We're just not going anywhere. And I'm happy to be shot down, I'm happy to get deliberated, and I can still prove myself right.